Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it.
Hello everyone. My name is Darcy and I am 32 years old. The rain had just begun when I turned onto Maple Street, my umbrella trembling in the wind. It was late, too late. But my husband Albert had promised to wait up for me. I imagined him sitting by the fire, that gentle smile of his lighting the dim room. I even brought his favorite pastries from the cafe, still warm in their box. But when I reached the porch, the first thing I noticed was the silence. Not peaceful silence, empty silence. The kind that whispers that something is terribly wrong. The door was slightly open. The lamp in the hallway flickered. "Albert," I called softly. No answer. I stepped inside, my heels echoing against the hardwood floor. Then I saw her, Eliza, my 7-year-old niece, curled up on the couch, cheeks streaked with tears, her small chest rising and falling with shallow breaths. Her bunny toy lay half-torn beside her, and next to it, an envelope. My fingers trembled as I tore it open. "Darcy, please take care of Eliza. She's very sick. Albert and I can't handle this. Don't look for us. It's better this way. Janet." My knees gave out. The pastries hit the floor. My sister, my husband, together. "Darcy?" Eliza's faint voice broke the silence. She looked up, her eyes glazed with fever. "Mommy said I'm dying soon." I pressed a shaking hand to her forehead, burning. Her skin was dry, her lips cracked. "No, baby," I whispered, scooping her into my arms. "You're not dying. Not while I'm here." She shivered. "Will Mommy come back?" I couldn't answer. My heart cracked like glass. I could still smell Albert's cologne on the couch, still see Janet's scarf on the coat rack. The two people I loved most had torn my world in half, and left their child like discarded proof of their guilt. The storm outside grew wilder, rattling the windows. I held Eliza close, rocking her gently as thunder rolled across the sky. My tears fell onto her hair, mingling with the scent of rain and betrayal. In that moment, I made a silent vow. They might have abandoned her, but I never would. If she was dying, I would fight death itself. If she lived, I would become her mother. The morning light crept through the blinds, soft and cold. Eliza lay in my bed, her breathing shallow, her small hand clutching my sleeve. I hadn't slept. The note from Janet still burned in my mind. "She's very sick." The words echoed like a curse. I carried Eliza to the hospital, her frail body weightless in my arms. The doctor, Dr. Patel, a kind-eyed man with gray hair, listened carefully as I explained her supposed illness, how my sister had said it was terminal. He frowned. "Let's run some tests," he said quietly. Hours passed. I sat by the hospital bed, my heart pounding with dread. I prayed, begged, bargained, anything for her to live. Finally, Dr. Patel returned, holding a clipboard. His face was a strange mix of relief and sorrow. "Mrs. Collins," he said gently, "your niece isn't dying. There's no disease at all." I blinked, confused. "What do you mean?" Janet showed me reports, blood tests, prescriptions. He sighed. "Those were fake. This child is malnourished, severely underfed. She's weak because she hasn't eaten properly for months." My stomach turned. "Starving?" I whispered. He nodded. "You saved her by bringing her here." The floor seemed to tilt beneath me. My sister, my own flesh and blood, hadn't been protecting her daughter, she'd been starving her. All those times I'd believed her stories, all those nights I'd pitied her struggles as a mother of a dying child, they were lies. That evening, as I tucked Eliza into bed, she looked up at me sleepily. "Mommy never cooked much," she murmured. "Sometimes she'd just forget." Tears blurred my vision. I brushed her hair back, whispering, "You'll never go hungry again. I promise." Outside, the wind howled against the windows, as if mourning the truth that had finally been exposed. Inside, I sat in silence, realizing betrayal had roots far deeper than I'd ever imagined. The first weeks were a battle against both hunger and ghosts. Eliza's body was frail, her eyes hollow, her little hands trembling each time I offered her food. She'd nibble a spoonful, then look at me nervously, as if afraid I'd take it away. My heart shattered each time. "Eat, sweetheart," I whispered one evening, kneeling beside her. "You're safe now. No one will forget to feed you ever again." She hesitated, then nodded, her lips quivering. "Promise." "I swear it," I said, fighting tears. I filled our home with warmth and the smells of life. Soups simmering, bread baking, sunlight pooling on the kitchen floor. Slowly, the hollows of her cheeks softened, her laughter returned, and her drawings on the fridge grew brighter. In them, two stick figures always appeared, one big, one small, holding hands under a sky full of hearts. But the nights were harder. Sometimes I'd wake to her muffled cries, nightmares dragging her back to those dark memories. I'd gather her into my arms until her trembling stopped. She didn't mean it. She'd whisper sometimes, "Mommy just forgot." And I'd hold her tighter, whispering, "You never have to make excuses for cruelty." Months turned into years. I enrolled her in school, watched her raise her hand shyly in class, then grow into a confident, laughing girl who loved painting and poetry. We built our own rhythm, our own family. One spring afternoon, she ran to me, clutching her first report card. "Mom," she shouted, radiant, all A's. The word mom caught me off guard. I froze, and then smiled through the tears that suddenly blurred my vision. "I'm proud of you, Eliza." That night, as she slept peacefully beside me, I realized something powerful. Janet had given me betrayal, but Eliza had given me purpose, and for the first time in years, my heart began to heal. 14 years passed like a long exhale. The girl once too weak to stand now strode through life with confidence and light. Eliza had just graduated from university, top of her class, and landed a position as a marketing specialist for a furniture company in the city. Every morning she called before work. Every Sunday she came home with tulips and laughter. That Sunday felt no different until the knock. I was setting out tea when it came. 3 sharp knocks, too firm, too familiar. Eliza was upstairs, humming softly as she unpacked her bag. I wiped my hands and opened the door, and the world tilted. Janet stood there, my sister, her once glossy hair now streaked with gray, her eyes hidden behind oversized sunglasses. Beside her stood Albert, older, heavier, but that same crooked smile that once melted my heart now felt like venom. "Darcy," Janet breathed, voice trembling. "It's been so long." I gripped the doorframe. "Not long enough." Albert shifted uneasily. "We wanted to see Eliza," he said. "She is Janet's daughter after all." My laugh came out hollow. "Your daughter? You mean the child you left to die while you played house with a stolen husband?" A sound of footsteps behind me. "Eliza." "Mom?" she asked softly. "Who's at the door?" Janet's sunglasses slipped, revealing eyes glistening with guilt. "Eliza," she whispered. "It's me, your mother." Eliza froze. Her gaze darted between me and them, confusion clouding her face before it hardened into something fierce. "My mother?" she repeated, voice steady now. "My mother is standing right here." Janet's lip quivered. Albert looked away. The air between us thickened with years of buried pain and unspoken fury. For a moment, no one moved. Then Eliza stepped closer to me, took my hand, and said quietly but firmly, "You don't belong here." Tears filled my eyes, not of pain this time, but of pride. My little girl had finally become the woman I raised her to be. The silence after Eliza's words was deafening. Janet's lips trembled, her painted smile collapsing. "Eliza, please, I was young. I made mistakes." Eliza's eyes, once gentle, now burned with calm fury. "You didn't make a mistake. You made a choice." She stepped closer, her voice breaking slightly. "You left me to die and called it love." Albert tried to intervene, his tone pleading. "We thought it was best." "Best for who?" I cut in sharply. "For your comfort? For your lies?" Janet's shoulders sagged. "I only wanted to start over." "You did," I said quietly. "We just weren't part of it." Eliza turned to me then, her hand slipping into mine. "Let's go, Mom. We've already forgiven them by living well." I met Janet's eyes one last time, once my sister, now a stranger swallowed by her own choices. "You wanted freedom," I whispered. "Now you have it." We walked away, leaving them on the porch, 2 ghosts staring after the life they abandoned. As the door closed behind us, Eliza smiled through her tears. "We're finally free, aren't we?" I kissed her forehead. "Yes, my love, at last we are."
Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.